Watch this video that they're trying to debunk online, and then we're going to tell the truth about it.
Now, the most amazing thing is that that cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's water vapor. And in about an hour's time, someone in Mississippi is going to get wet washing. It will actually rain. I told you. It's raining. That's unbelievable. Oh, NASA's playing God. It's making its own weather.
Before we even talk about that video, let's talk about the facts. Business Insider. China spent millions on a shady project to control the weather ahead of the Beijing Olympics, and dozens of other countries are doing it too. Forbes. China is launching weather control machines across an area the size of Alaska. China is launching the world's largest weather control machine with the ability to modify the weather in an area similar to the size of Alaska. If you don't know, Alaska is the biggest state. That makes Texas look like this. A lot of people don't know. Let's move to the past. 1972 in the New York Times. Rainmaking is used as a weapon by U.S., says Seymour Hersh. The United States has secretly been seeding clouds over North Vietnam, Laos, and South Vietnam to increase and control the rainfall for military purposes. Government sources, both civilian and military, said during an extensive series of interviews that the Air Force cloud seeding program has been aimed most recently at hindering movement of North Vietnamese troops and equipment and suppressing enemy. You get the point. Now that we've shown you how real cloud seeding and weather modification is, let's look at the hilarious and embarrassing attempts to debunk this viral video we just watched from the same Forbes that told you China is launching weather control machines across an area the size of Alaska. Let's see what else they say. There is no NASA cloud machine. Here's the real explanation of that viral video. The Times of India tries to debunk it too. Fact check. NASA developed a machine to produce rain generating clouds. Ooh. The Verge. No. NASA doesn't have a cloud generation machine. It has rocket engines. So partially they're telling the truth. Yes, that was a rocket engine in that BBC video that produced a cloud that made it rain. But the backflips that they do, people are sending me, oh, it's debunked. This isn't real. They can't make it rain. It's a hoax. It's not a hoax. They're just saying it's not a cloud machine. It's a rocket. But anybody with half a brain that doesn't let these little media dweebs tell you how to think would realize if one of their simple rocket engines could make it rain, then obviously they could have a machine that makes it rain. And if they don't have a machine that makes it rain, guess who does? China. But like I said, if you read old 1972 New York Times articles, you could see that they say that our government was doing it. So maybe it wasn't NASA, says the debunking hoaxers, but maybe it was the Air Force or private citizens. Who knows? I know that Bill Gates patented hurricane manipulation technology, and if you could stop a hurricane, maybe you could start a hurricane. If you could start the rain, maybe you could stop the rain. And if it's being done on an area the size of Alaska, then yeah, climate change is real. But how come the climate change activists never talk about weather modification technology? Isn't that a little bit strange? Think about these fires that have been raging in California. By the way, here's a chart of the dead trees in California. They never want to talk about that. Ooh, I wonder why the fires are getting bigger and wider. It must be climate change. Or maybe the fact that you left millions of trees just laying there to catch on fire so they get into neighborhoods and communities and places that they haven't. It's climate change. So even if it was the heating of the planet, which honestly it's probably most absolutely not, even if it was, if we have the technology to make it rain, how come your politicians and your government doesn't do that? How come they let your neighborhoods burn? How come they let your houses burn? How come they let your forests burn? Recycling yards burn to the point that the air was literally hazardous for a long time? And the air is constantly bad. It doesn't rain for months because it's a desert and the air quality is the worst in the United States. How come they don't make it rain? How come they don't stop the fires? How come that people that consider themselves liberals and scientific believers and everybody else is a denier, how come they can't figure out that this is real? Oh, it's a hoax because Forbes told me it was the hoax of the NASA hoax. You guys are just conspiracy theorists. That same newspaper says raining technology is real. So my question to you is, can we make it rain? And if we can, like they say we can, how come they don't talk about it? And how come they don't make it rain for our communities when we need it? Are they manipulating hurricanes? Are they totally controlling the weather in certain areas? Because if China can control the weather or manipulate the weather in an area as big as Alaska, which is the biggest state in the United States, then the possibilities are unlimited. But these are the climate change possibilities that they don't want you to talk about, because they don't want you to have solutions. They don't want you to solve the fires or the problems. They don't want you to know the real science. What they want you to do is give your tax money to them, live in a state of fear and paranoia, and want to overthrow the patriarchy due to climate change, to the point where you act like you know science and everyone's a denier, but you're so brainwashed by their false narratives that you don't even know what's going on. You're like, oh, climate change is the reason for everything in the life. Let's just give the money to the government and let the state catch on fire and we'll blame climate change. It's really embarrassing and pathetic. And hopefully this video wakes a few people up to the one climate change that they never talk about: cloud seeding and weather modification. Let me know. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America, and God bless the world. If you'd like to support my news analysis, you can do so by becoming a Facebook supporter. You can support me on Patreon, or you could do the most important thing, which is neither of those. Just have a great day, enjoy your life, and be some good energy in the world. We need that the most. Thank you.